The chen ling system of Xingyi animals. These are the applications for the animals. I have a separate DVD for the forms, if you don't know the forms. A lot of these animals are multitasking in terms of their function. It can be used against a grab, punch, or throw, whatever. We'll show a couple variations, but there's many variations. We have inside-outside variations. We have high-low variations, big person, small person variations. The trick here is to just pick one variation and get good at it and practice it and drill it over and over and over until it's fluent, and then do another variation. So I'll show a couple variations that you can practice on your own, and then you can move on from there. And the other variations will come with practice anyway. You'll start to see all the different functions eventually. So the first one we're going to do is dragon. Dragon's always first in the system because it has this kicking, and it also it works the legs a lot, deep squats. And dragon in general is all about wrapping or winding energy. So you'll see this a lot, and it's what it does to the opponent too. It wraps them up in a little twisted ball. And so now Jay's going to come help me. So it's really important you get someone to practice with you that you both are kind of investigating these things on a really healthy way, not trying to hurt each other, but really trying to understand all the angles and the targets, the insertions, the come-ons, that is what makes them do their thing, what makes them want to punch you, and all these other things, and where they're aiming for. All these things change with each form, so this is how you train really carefully. So for dragon, we can start a number of ways. We can lift the hand and get his hand to come up. And this is basically our splitting, which is right from the first fist in Xingyi. We can also use it as deflection, so if he punches, I can deflect his punch with that. And this is, notice I deflect to the outside, and I'm going to start all the functions on the outside for now. Okay, at that point, you have options. You need to listen to if he's going backwards or forwards. In dragon, he's going to keep going forward with his punch, and as he does, I'm going to sit right down into dragon. So what I'm doing is taking his momentum of his punch and letting it go by and directing it past my body, at the same time addressing his shoulder so he doesn't hit me with it, and making sure his elbow is checked by turning his hand as he goes by. This makes his elbow go up and his body go down. So this is what we call an arm lock, right? And at that point, I can literally step out and lay him down. And this is your insertion for all the takedowns and all the other arts, jiu-jitsu, aikido, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. But first, you have to get them down there. So this is one of the ways. So if we start from a punch, that's one way. If we start from a grab, then he's probably going to pull me a little bit. And I'm going to have to take his pull and convert it into a lock. And this takes the strength out of his pull. It extends out his tendons so he can't use his arm properly. Makes it much more difficult. And the more I keep twisting it, the more his body starts to respond. As soon as his head starts to tilt forward, he's in trouble. At that point, I just apply the other hand and keep twisting and drop him down. So this is a classic chen move. It attacks the joints, and this is dragon. And the form just looks like that. There's a lot of variations. So there's also in this chen ling version, you can block low. So you'll see this on a low hook on the inside. You just strike, and notice you strike the joints. So if they're holding anything in their hand, that's a release. You also mobilize the joint for a second and then you hit them. So you're going to go, so this is very percussive, it's just going to go boom, bop, right up to the head. Then you grab the arm and do the rest of dragon I just explained. Okay? This is repeated 2 times. So this is just so that you can understand it's a drill and you're supposed to do it a lot until you're very fluent. Okay? So dragon kind of works like that. There's a lot going on. So now with the legs, we'll do it from the grab, right? So when he grabs, I come down. Let's say he's just too strong and I can't get his arm to move. So with dragon, you kick the knee. That extends his head forward. This takes all the leverage out of his arm. It makes him lean forward to respond to that. If not, you just take out the knee. He will start to collapse, and when he does, you press his head down. So the knee is pivotal if you were a smaller person trying to do this to a bigger person. Okay? And you need to stay on the outside if you're a smaller person too. So once again, kick, hand, body down. And this can continue. I can go to the head. I can cross him with dragon. So if he's a real good grappler, use that against him. Kick, drop him down. Okay, and then I come up here, and what happens is he now starts to retreat. He runs away from me, and as he does, I take my back foot and kick him. Same time, my front hand comes out and gets his other hand busy and drop him down again. And that's pretty much dragon. So you see a lot of kicking, a lot of takedowns, a lot of wrapping around them. And this very characteristic of the form, it's just very twisty. And then you have this kicking and compression business. Okay? So that's dragon. The next one is tiger. Tiger is this really explosive reaching energy. It's the best way to think about it. It has a more side-to-side orientation. We're going diagonal with tiger. With dragon's more frontal. You're moving straight. Where in tiger you're moving side to side. So you see a lot of deflections to off the side. So now Jay is going to help me again. And as he does, we'll start from a punch. He's going to do a low punch this time. And I'm going to step off to the side to get away from it. So notice I track the elbow and get my body out of the way. This is most important, is just try to get out of the way of that punch, especially if it's a big guy. And as you get out of the way, you're going to lift up your hands and threaten the throat and attack the joint. You can attack the shoulder with the other hand, or the wrist, or the elbow, but the elbow and the shoulder are preferred. And then just go for the throat, and then just push. So notice I follow him through. So I want to use that momentum of his. Don't let it stop, just let it go. And notice I stay to the outside. I don't want to come inside. If possible, I want to stay right out here. So he can't hit me with his right hand, his back hand. By the time he gets around to me, I've already pushed him. This is the safest way to go. And this is precisely why tiger does this side step and then comes out. It's to cut this angle. Make sure all these targets are available right along this line here. Very important. Okay? This is not a tournament art, so we don't want to come up the middle. It's too dangerous. He's got 2 weapons. Much better to come to the side. That way he's only got 1 weapon I have to deal with. Okay, so on a grab, tiger, from here, he grabs that hand. I just lift it up and he grabs it again. And I drop it down. So this will get my release. Just this natural dropping of the hands. Then I can lift them and make them present. So if I'm worried about his second hand, let's say he grabs this one and starts to punch me with the other hand, I've got my hand up to block. And again, I just push him out. So the lethality of these increases depending on how much you need. If he's really aggressive and you know he's got a weapon in the other hand, you're going to want to use your fingers to his eyes, to his throat, or even to the ribs to get him to move. You can also hit him in the kidneys with the elbow or the fingers when he comes around the other side. This does work on the inside too. If he throws his, let's have you throw your right, maybe they'll see that better. If he throws his right, I'm going to come up and just block with these. And on the inside, you want to use the leg as much as possible. So all of these, you lift up the knee in the form. So this is to indicate that the knee is being used as a leverage to get them to go back and to keep his other hand busy, to make him look down. And then you can push him out easy to that diagonal. Okay, that's good for tiger. Tiger's pretty straightforward. It's not as fancy as some of the other ones. So this is the one that works really great against Western boxers because the hands are right up in front and you can use them to block and parry and strike. So again, we don't wear gloves, so we can keep our hands open and use them. And we can also grab with these. So these are like tiger's claws. You can grab and rip and tear, right, depending on what you need to do. So that's the grappling in tiger. Monkey's a little trickier. Monkey has this big winding movement, very circular now, reminiscent of Bagua. Again, most of the Xingyi is just an introduction to Bagua. And so whenever you see these two, they're always taught together because they help each other out quite a bit in terms of training. So this is, the Xingyi animals you'll also see a lot of them in Taiji forms because we think that the Xingyi animals were the origin of the Taiji forms. So if Jay punches with his right, I'm going to block with this kind of weird side block this way. Again, I'm just pushing the elbow with my palm, right? And this turns his body. And as he does, I'm going to come around and hook the back of his head and step and drag him down. Okay? So notice I stay on the outside where he can't see me. So as soon as this comes, I step and toe out. I toe in and drop my hand behind his neck. So this is a full headlock at this point. I can do a sleeper hold from here. I can just hold his head and lock him. But the form doesn't do that. The form just steps back and throws him to the ground. Right? If he tries to retreat, you come up and strike with the knee and the hand to the eyes. Notice this hand is holding the elbow, keeping from hitting you. This can be a kick to the knee or the foot, or the knee to the ribs, hand to the head. And then if he's still retreating, you just slide and then it just repeats. So I'll do that on the outside one more time. Throws his right. I kind of step out a little bit to the right, come around him, hook that back of the neck, pull him down. He starts to retreat. I come up with my knee, boom, and my hand. Notice trying to keep this hand away from me, this elbow. Then I come through and check. Okay. This works great on a grappler. It works if he's coming around my leg, around my waist. This is perfect for a grappler. You do the same thing. You're just going to step around him more and sit more. Right? You can just peel him off here and come up. Wham! And then down. So all these will work on a grappler, jiu-jitsu person or wrestler. I'll show once on the inside, at least the first part. So he throws his left hook, just for the camera. There's my block. Here's my second block. I just take both hands and pull them down. Notice I've crossed his arms. Right? So he's fully exposed, and as I come up to his throat, that keeps him busy. My left knee is going to come to his chest on the inside. Then I come out right to the head. So he's going to throw the hook from this angle because I think you'll see it better. One. Let's keep that other hand busy. So right away, you want to get that other hand. You can block with it, lift up the arm, and come around and just drop the arm. Notice I try to drop it into a cross and pull this hand through. That way he's off balance. I can pull him this way easily. I keep my weight on my right, my back leg. And then if he tries to retreat, I come up. Again, lift my knee, my hand. Same time. Then follow him. So that's monkey. Monkey is a little bit more elusive and evasive. Like a monkey, kind of never know what they're going to do next. This is the nature of monkeys. They're very unpredictable as fighters. We are now a horse. Horse is a little bit like tiger. It's very explosive, using two fists at once, one going high, one going low. And a big emphasis on the stomp. So it's a very percussive animal. Just if you've ever been hit with a horse hoof, you know what it's like. It's like being hit with a wall. And that's what it should feel like when you do your form. It should have that kind of very powerful, explosive energy to it. And the function is like that as well. So first he's going to punch. Punch with his left, he's going to punch low. And then I'm going to come around. Now I can hook this arm if I want, and just hold it in check while I scrape and punch it this way. Or I can just slide up the arm this way. And just let my arm go right up along his the top of his shoulder to his neck. Always attack the nice soft fleshy parts. Do not hit the chin because it'll break your knuckles. Even the nose is hard enough to break your knuckles. So go ahead for the throat. Ears are pretty soft. You can hit them, no hurts. The floater ribs down here are really nice. You can hit, but they won't hurt you, but they kind of hurt him a lot. If you can turn them more, you can hit the kidney. That hurts a whole lot. If you want to do a scissor-like action with a punch, one coming up, one coming under. So you need to watch out for his elbow. That's why right away, if you can get behind the elbow on this first deflection, this is preferable. Now I can control his head, his body. I can kick with his foot, with my knee, and hit with the wrist right into his kidney to the right. So this is horse. It kind of has this side movement like that. So these punches can go high or low depending on what you want to do. It's a really flexible again. And so I can go low with both. I can go high with this one, high with that one, then low, then here. So you really have a lot of options. There's not just one way to do these things. And this is how they're set up. They're set up in multitasking forms. They're just very efficient and fighting. And this one looks a lot like Western boxing, because we have both hands up and busy. One hand usually leading, the other following through. But can be almost at the same time. You can also lead with the foot if you want. You touch his foot. Right? You're worried about his size and his stature, you take it out. Take out the side. Now let's collapse his leg, then he'll come right down to you. Then you can do what you want. You can walk up his back with these punches. These punches are kind of half punches, so they're not full fist. You're scraping with them, like I said with the first switch. You're just really raking. That's a good thing to think about. And this keeps the elbows pronated, this protects them. So there's a couple problems always when you come to the side. One is this back elbow. So these are now why the fists are the way they are. So the elbows now can protect me from his elbow, and I can still hit him and protect myself. Okay, so the elbows need to be in the right position, right in front, protecting your ribs. from his elbow. Now on the grab side of things, this works fine against the grab. Again, I come up into Xingyi, and I'm going to get my release from this grab. But let's say I don't get my release, that's fine. I just step in with my kick, that gets my release, and I hit him. That gets my release too. If I continue with this circular movement of the fists and do it properly, I can actually grab him. So anytime you see this fist, it also implies you're grabbing. Right? Then I've got the arm. Then I can do what I want and really strike. And I can replace. Okay? That's pretty good for horse. Horse is a great technique. Very simple, direct, effective. Okay, water strider is like a water strider. It kind of touches on things and goes. It barely touches the water, and it kind of has this ability to just move from one thing to the next really easily. So it looks like a multiple person attacking form, at least the beginning trainings of it. Also has this element of single change in Bagua, so also in wave hands like clouds in Taiji. So all these things are present. We'll see it in water strider. With water strider, you have the knee coming up, and this you'll see is a very effective and helpful. The hand positions are important. The L position of the hands protects you. So this is the blocking hand. This will be the striking elbow. So he's going to punch me with his left in my head. Again, we start on the outside. Always do your drills starting on the outside, please, not on the inside. Much safer. So I come right up to the elbow, and as I come up, I step out of the way.